G'day, welcome to episode 51 of my Oxygen Not Included playthrough. Now, a few things to fix in this one. The most notable was that I built my airlocks badly up here. Pointing to many pointed out that the vacuum of space is here. So where my airlocks are is already beyond the point where it's a problem. So let's build it down. Let's dig out that. And that. I don't want it to really be done in ice. I suppose we could go down one more then. Still just the top of ice there. So we go there and there. Cancel those two. And we will put these as major priorities because we want to get this going. And we will also deconstruct them because they're useless at the moment. There are definitely a few things to look at in this one. Now, the other one that I quite like is a tiny little suggestion is that with this door, I can possibly, for missions, passing right through this door is permitted. Click to revoke. Right, so the only thing that you can do is you can pass out, you can exit through this door, you can't enter through it. And we're not going to turn that off just yet, but we can turn that off, and what that means is that once this guy is in full operation, then we can have it so that tubes genuinely aren't allowed to walk into this room. They are going to have to take the super fun happy tube to have a meal. Cool. So next up, sorry, I probably should have ordered the deconstruction of those two at the same time. And construction of those. Now, one other thing that was pointed out is the way that I've been digging at the top. So you can see that granite, malefic rock, and regolith is what is sort of around. So when I'm building this, have a look to see if there's anything malefic rock. That was what that was, wasn't it? Cool. So to solve the problem of both here and over here, we cancel that, and instead what we do is we tell them to do it, but we do it with malefic rock. Then they're not going to be constantly running back and forth to build that. Thank you very much for that suggestion. So hopefully, like say, him heading over there, it's not going to be just watching him do one little chip here. He actually can now do it all. Although he's declaring that an unreachable build, I would say it's because of this. So let's dig out those two. And those two. It's definitely a problem the way this is just regrowing, like the comments are just re-smashing this along the top. I probably would have been better off operating across the bottom here. See that? I suppose all those like little cracks and things, it's just watching these guys wander through. And I assume they're part of that problem too. They're eating this stuff and dipping it out. Alright, we've got another person coming in for this. No, you just come for Ryan? Okay. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is get these manual airlocks in place. And we will give them priority too. I realized I probably could have built them further south and then just built a wall around them so I didn't have to worry about the ice ever being a problem. Tronium. Is that just a wall? Yeah, it seems like that's a wall. There's not really too much else up here. Let's dig this way a little bit just to sort of clear out this black. Let's see if we're doing anything at the top now. Alright. Well, we're going triple speed too. Let's slow that down a little bit. So, the next thing. So we fix the airlocks. Thank you. I think that was probably the most commented on thing, and that's why I certainly appreciate playing this game with people watching me. Otherwise, I would have died a long time ago with silly mistakes like that. Wait for that. Done the materials. Okay, so the next question was, we have CO2 in the oxygen lines that are feeding these tubes. Let's try and work out why. So if we go to ventilation, go to the pipes. So we've got the hydrogen getting pumped out here and there. That thing there is jam-packed to carbon dioxide, and that's really the only reason that I think that there should ever be carbon dioxide in there, is that these two, someone's opening, say, these doors and going in here and operating those pumps. I mean, that is jam-packed there. Now this guy is way too hot, so let's put a couple of potter plants down there. We don't have to search for them too hard. There's one right there, so I can just put 2 down there, and we'll put some weezewort between them. You can see the carbon skimmer is definitely doing its job. This is breathable gas all the way to down here. And you can see that he's just wandered in and out of there, and assumably that's where you're going to see, there you go, some carbon dioxide get into that chain. So, I mean, it's not the, doesn't feel like it's the biggest deal in the world. It's just a question of whether these guys, like, with this guy in operation, are they going to take care of it a bit better? But, I mean, there's a regular... The guy's going in there at a pretty decent clip. I'll have to think about that one. I mean, at least we know why it's going in there. I mean, obviously I could set up like a second gas filter somewhere along the line that just tries to push it out if it gets in there, but... yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the effort. I mean, potentially, I wonder if even just changing that to a solid square would stop the oxygen, the carbon dioxide just sort of pushing through there as much as it does. Oh. Creativity, equal morale bonus, increase husbandry, decrease decor. So he loves his decor, and he loves his creativity, but he's just not overly impressed by it. Let's just take a Draco. 3 Dracos, rather. how are we doing with our build? We've got all the way there. We're just one square off. Let's give that a priority so it gets made. Of course, it's dinner time, so no one's going to be overly interested in doing it. What are they all complaining about? The cold? That time of the evening when no one's clocked on. Alright, go enjoy your sleep, fellas. Except for Mima. It's raves all night long. Like some people have been to bed for ages before, while others are still roaming around. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's quite literally how I've set up their schedule, but I personally do love an early shift. Alright, great. There we go. So that is now in operation. So what we will do is we will turn off that as an option. We will eagerly await this evening when people start to have their meals. Great. So store is on auto, so we can just wander in, I guess. Anything interesting? Brought to you by the Gravitas facility. Patent pending. I mean, so I'm always bummed out that there's no real need for anyone to go in here, right? We can just... all just sort of there. You can't even use the elevator. Alright. Can demolish it. Just do an active real, like, rebellion here. Okay, so I guess that's the end of that. So let's have a look at this section up here. We'll say that's sort of spacey. So let's go just sort of straight up to about there for now. Just see what we can see once we get to there. I think I'm looking at the picture though. It was actually the south that I've got a lot more to explore in. You can see this way there's heaps in this corner. So, where have we gotten to? Now obviously we're going to be starting to fall into like oil territory down here. Speaking of, our oil is good to go. I'm accruing a lot of water down here. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because I've got this all up here. So let's have a look. Refinement? No. So if I went to plumbing, I assume it would just be like a liquid pump that I could have pump from down here up. Speaking of pumping, was I still pumping this here? How's that going? I would say we're pretty close that we can turn that off. I suppose the concern at this point is I'm going to forget for a while again. We don't want these poor guys to be displaced again any further than they already have been. So we can just turn that off for now, I would say. Disable building. Okay, sorry, back to... Actually, I realize I jumped back onto the other one. I've gone to this. So, apologies, I think I said this around the wrong way. CO2 is heavier than natural gas. So it will sit below it, but oxygen is lighter than natural gas, which means that to pump this, I'm going to have to figure out a way that it's sitting right at the bottom. Or, sorry, sitting right in the middle. Now, presumably if I let... So, at this point I was digging to come down into it, but the majority of what's around here is actually carbon dioxide. It's not oxygen. So, if I was to allow it to get in here, that could just start pushing the natural gas out everywhere. So, possibly what I need to do is come the opposite way around and come up into it. On the bet that there's going to be less air in the area than there is carbon dioxide. So, our plan. We dig to there. We then dig to there. We dig across. To there. And then we dig up. Now I'm just going to put a ladder to there for now. I'll allow it to sort of... I'll wait till I'm focused back on it again before we actually break through. Now, have we reached the point where people are eating? Or did I miss the chance of seeing anyone doing their wander through? At least I can see that people are eating, which suggests that the transit tube is getting used for its particular purpose. I do have some plastic, so... Oh, there we go. She actually just used the shower too. Great. Perfect. So, the extra thing that we can do, and I'm going to do, is just add one extra tube on the end there. I won't worry about it because it looks like it's going to be a drama to do so. So, what I'll do is I'll just leave it like that. I suppose the temptation of the extra little bit of tube there would be that I can get a little bit more distance out of each trip of this. But I think that... what am I looking for? Sort of... that one. It's the colony summary. That's what I want. That's a bit extreme. Happening over there. Alright. So we really should look into those as well. Send a duplicate on a one-way mission to the furthest star map destination. So all I've got to do is get to a population of 12 and then build a great monument. And have Ashcan be a little bit happier. Or kill Ashcan. Alright, so... the other, what we wanted to have a look at was... so those are the ones that you'd have to do special things for, but there we go. So you can see we've already added another 150 or so meters to that, which is good. Purely this is just going to be a slow move through. If every day we're just adding something, we have a lot of days hopefully ahead of us. At least 30 more so that we can hit the Be Here a Year achievement. Right, so the other thing that now I want to look at, because I've not looked at it before, and I'm just curious, or at least it's been a while since I looked at it, is the great statue thing. The monument base. Steel and obsidian. A lot of plastic. A lot of ceramic. A lot of glass. A lot of diamond. A lot of steel. That seems very far away. One other thing that was mentioned in my things that I should address is to get rid of the dirt that is remaining in my town. And I will happily sort of work to that. I don't know how much of this is actually going to be able to reach. But we'll just put the order in for all of it. I can at least clear out some of it. Alright, how are we looking up here? That's the edge of the map. Yep. I've sort of dug that way too. I think it is sort of a bit more south that we need to just venture. One of the other achievements I think is to explore 80% of the map. Let's just see sort of sections like here, where it feels like there's not too much effort that we'd have to go through to really push in. So just add a little bit extra building that these guys can do. We'll just build straight up to here. Cancel that one and we'll just dig a little bit that way. See what they find. Real battle there between chlorine, polluted oxygen, and carbon dioxide. What room is that? Oh, alright, that's the old old pond. Still a fair bit of water that's sitting up there. Continue to build wall to try and slowly bump it along. Costing me sandstone. The idea that you have to do it with carrying your food as well. It really drains its battery every single time that happens too. But a little bit of ladder there, a little bit of ladder there. Oh, that's considered to take up that space. Cancel that. I do want to, I think part of that achievement that I'm ultimately going for, but I need steel and whatnot for, I do also need to have 12 people. And I definitely am now got an eye out for that. I do think that that's something that I want to try and get. Now I feel like what I might do here is I'll copy this and I'll just put a line of insulation there, so that then what I can do is I can copy that, and Ashcan, who is the most unhappy member of the troop and have a carpeted floor. And probably sneak him in a landscape as well. So let's try and do that for anyone we can. So there we go. You can have a landscape. 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 Everyone gets a landscape. Except for Stinky, who gets 2 statues. And Mima, who just has the biggest room to... Well, Mima doesn't even have a statue in her room. Give Mima something. I'm quite happy with how my water supplies have gone. Nice to see that I didn't just burn through that as quickly as I guess I expected to. It's actually the polluted water that's probably my biggest problem of running out. I assume that is costing me something severe each time I do have to repair those. Trying to think of what way we could approach this. Let's change that tile. And I guess we'll put a mechanized airlock there. Just to try and see if we can reduce the amount that's going in there. Because I suppose if we don't have that space available, that that carbon dioxide will get pushed a bit more this way. And might actually sort of get hit by those plants, and so the waiting squares out here might not be as bad as what they currently are. I wonder how you were doing. It's one of the... There we go, we're up over 1,000 already with our tubular. These new ones, the tune-ups. So we're up to 21 tune-ups as well. They're picking away with that. And we're up to 68% of exploring the map. We have done 0 ton of refined metals by smooth hatches. I was wondering about this one, if I think the doors are too expensive, but potentially what you could do is just block, like just build an army of them across the top. This one and that one. This one, I don't know how I could manufacture it. I mean, you can see that 8 out of 10 have gone out and done this on their own. But I don't quite know what I could do to sort of ensure that they're doing this. Because I do feel like a lot of the work is on the outside. But I also completely understand if there are guys that aren't going out and doing it, that it's not the jobs for everyone. It's not really hunting that one as hard as I'm hunting the other ones, but it might be easier than I consider. Alright, well neither of you look overly good. Alright. We don't need salt water, so let's do it again where we let's put Paku on the menu. Is that all of them? You don't look done. That's all of them. Just come down, guys. Just take a beating on these Paku. No, he just came for the ore. Ashcan looks stoked. Look at him. Look at this guy. All he needed was carpet. And Mimar getting to work. Look at that. Look at that face. It's the face of a sociopath. This isn't hard work for her. It's not fun. She's just indifferent to killing this guy, all of this guy's friends. That's a neat picture. Look at that one. Wonder if that's Ellie's space boyfriend. That Hassan's parents. I guess May just hopes that people don't wander into each other's bedrooms, which they normally don't. So then they find out that she's just using the same paintings over and over. Actually, good point. Now that I've made this a one-way door, I could actually make this a one-way door too. Because it doesn't matter anymore. Slowly getting there with this one. Where were we building down here? Still plenty to go there. Is there something more convenient to be building down here? Granite. Is that granite in there? No? Oh well, doesn't much matter. $400 kilos of plastic at this point. Just need a few thousand to make the statue. Ceramic, I don't think I've started either. Obsidian. Was obsidian just a assume I've got to make obsidian. 6 tons available. Maybe I've just got to dig it out. Steel's the big one though. I need 17.5 tons of steel. Alright, just out of curiosity then, let's learn about steel. Synthesizes oxalate using oxygen, small amounts of gold. Metal refinery. In that we make it. Can't imagine it would be in a rock crusher. Ash can still run around over the moon. He's having quite the day. Can't really see on this, like, where it's telling me that it does things like creates raw materials and things. It's like, well, where am I needing to look to... Nothing's got a keyword of steel for me. Alright, well, I guess that's my question of this one. Two-parter. Part one. How do I make steel? Part two. Should I be even worrying about this at this stage? Is any part of this, the glass, the diamond, the steel, the ceramic, are these well out of grasp for me? Or is this a thing that I actually can probably start to look at? Probably my question for this one. Alright, and that brings us to the end of another day. Thanks for watching. Any other questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. And until next time, I will catch you later. See ya.